Yo, welcome back to another episode of the High Value Agent Podcast, where we inspire people to create a better life through real estate. And I am going to share with you a message that is going to be germane to building an incredible business in 2026. One thing to always remember in the game of real estate: October is business planning month. Okay. So by October 31st, you want to have your business plan dialed in and executing. You're executing on those activities and that process, that plan by November. Okay. So what do you need to focus on when we're building out a business plan so then you have an incredible 2026? Well, that is what I want to unpack with you today. So, number one, very, very critical that we get clear on why we are doing this, because let's just keep it real. Business and building something that is worth having is tough. And I think we can all agree to that. But you got to make sure that if you want to be consistent and sustain your energy of showing up every day and having a positive energy and investing your time and effort and your resources into building this thing that can really change your life, we got to get very clear on why we're doing it, why we're waking up every single day, getting out of bed and stepping into this day of problem solving and putting out fires and stuff like that. So understanding why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And getting aligned with yourself so then you don't have inner conflict, right? So, like, okay, I have a family and I want to pay off X amount of money in debt next year. So then me and my family can start building our wealth portfolio, whether it's buying investments, gold, silver, real estate, material things, it doesn't matter, right? Maybe that's your thing, okay? But it starts with paying down debt. Maybe that's your 2026 why. Cool. So we're very clear on that. And now what you want to do, at least what works well for me, is having a visual of that thing in front of me daily. So it's reminding me as to why I am getting up and putting in the effort every single day, knowing that there's a thing called delayed gratification. The results that I'm looking for won't happen until months down the line. So I got to show up and understand delayed gratification, be very clear on crystal clear on what I'm doing this for so I can keep going and I can keep being consistent. Okay. Real estate is a lagging business. So any work that you're doing, you don't see results. And if you're building something, and when I say you don't see results, you don't see it immediately. You'll see it eventually, and you'll even start to notice that you're building behaviors and habits that are just making you an overall better person. You could see that probably within 30 days. But the big business you're trying to build, that could take years. So getting very clear on what and why are you doing this? And then the inner conflict. So you have to make sure that if you want to have fulfillment in your daily work, okay, being aligned in your values, not being the type of person who wants more in their life, but they are not willing to do more work. Okay, that's conflict. That's where we got to get very clear. Like, if I want more in my life, I need to be willing to invest more of my energy and effort into becoming a higher version of myself, because you that's just the way it works, right? Or like, I want to be somebody who enjoys what I do and have more fulfillment. Well, if you want that, you also got to be the type of person that when you see people around you winning, you get inspired versus becoming jealous. Does that make sense? So like, if you have inner conflict, it's very easy to become inconsistent. When you are aligned in your values and your principles, and that's how you operate every single day, and then you have that crystal clear understanding as to why you're doing this, that is the first step when building a business plan for the next year. Now, once we're past that, we can talk about all the tactical stuff here in a minute. Once we're past that, now we can just get into the nuts and bolts of everything. But the most important part is what I just touched on. And that can take you days, and maybe even collaborating with people that are doing what you want to do and collaborating with them and having conversations with them and also your family. Okay. Because we got to talk about that too. That's important. So that's number one. Number two, understanding the opportunity that is in front of you. So in 2026 and right now, 2025 and next year, there is such an opportunity to gain as much business that you want to gain. Like I truly believe the committed, consistent, and coachable agent and or team leader will 2 to 3x their business next year if they're doing those three things, right? They're showing up, they're committed, and they're coachable. So now we have to understand like there is an opportunity in front of you. There is a great chance for you to garner and build something incredible in the next year. Understand that you got to roll up your sleeves and you got to show up and do that type of work, okay? Now, when we're building out our business plan, I call this the formulation phase, right? Again, getting clear on what do we want? How are we going to get it? Who do you need to talk to or collaborate with? And then giving yourself a deadline, okay? What is going to be your deadline to accomplish X goal? And then once you, and then again, when you're a team leader, for you is going to be self-development, personal development. So getting very clear on, again, who you need to be coached by, who you need to have in your circle, the books you need to read, because personal development is going to be critical for you to grow as a leader. Now, if you're an agent, you still need to understand you're a leader as well. You're leading your family, you're leading yourself. There are people in your life that you are leading, teammates on the team, right? Or if you're a solo agent, you're leading again your family, you're leading people in your life, whether you know it or not. So personal development. But then two, we got to get clear on the actual activities itself. So showing up, having a certain number of conversations that you're going to commit to having per day. If you're a team leader, that's probably going to be conversations with new recruits that you're looking to bring into your organization. If you're a real estate agent, it's going to be buyers and sellers. How many conversations do you need per day that is going to move the needle forward? And again, it doesn't have to be a crazy number like 50, right? It could be as low as 5, it could be as high as 20, it could be 30, but you got to determine that based on your data. Now, hopefully you've been tracking your data over the years so that you can see based on the goal that you want to get to what your daily activity and conversations need to be. What is that number for you? Okay. And actually, before that, let's map out a schedule. What does your day look like Monday through Friday? And I tell people if you have a very aggressive goal for the next year, you may want to make the commitment. And again, let's just assume that we are currently in mid-October. Okay. And again, I'm saying have your business plan ready to go by the end of the month, and you're already executing on that new plan, right? So let's assume we're middle October. We want to make sure that I will tell people, why don't we make sure that we have a wonderful holiday season where we can actually unplug and be present with our family by executing and showing up more consistently now. Okay. What you typically see are agents taking their foot off the gas during the fourth quarter. What you need to do is build out your schedule over the next 2.5 months. What does the rest of your October look like? Your entire November, and then your December. What are going to be your work days? Go ahead and put that in your calendar. And now you have days that you've committed to taking off, and you've built that by design and not by default. What I see is a lot of agents that just kind of float throughout the days, throughout the weeks. And then when it comes time for the holidays, they're extremely stressed. Do not do that. Plan ahead. Okay, so what are going to be the days that you're going to do your prospecting? Because that needs to be an activity. So you can have 5 2-minute conversations or 10 or 15, whatever that number is for you. And those are going to be your work days, and you're going to commit to doing that. So get clear on that. Get your schedule, and then identify how many conversations you need to have per day. That is the number one needle mover. Okay, schedule conversations. Your schedule is your boss. That is the thing that's going to keep you dialed in and being intentional throughout your minutes in your day. Okay. Now we gotta protect ourselves from ourselves. So I would highly recommend over the next 2.5 months and past that, because again, we're working for the entire 2026. We're building for the entire 2026, right? To even have a better 2027. Get some accountability in your life. Share what you're going to do with a fellow agent or a teammate or a leader or a coach. Share that with them and ask for daily accountability. Daily accountability. That is going to be extremely critical as you are going throughout these days. And understand to keep it very simple. Keep it simple. So when you do that, and I know a lot of people want this elaborate business plan. Literally, that is all you need. We're doing business planning as a company here in a couple weeks, and we're keeping it extremely simple. How many conversations do we need to have per day? And then that is going to be the business plan. That is going to be the business plan. And then getting a schedule dialed in that you could follow every single day, that you can be consistent with, and you can be disciplined with, that's going to help you move that needle forward every single day in your life and in your business. And that is really all it takes. And then hopefully, when you follow this process by January, you would have built up enough momentum where you're starting your year in the momentum phase. So you've been in the concentration phase for 75 to 90 days. And then when you hit January, February, you start really building momentum. Your first quarter of next year is off to a great start. And that's the key. Because when a lot of people start the new year behind, they kind of just give up the year. And then what they want to do initially is they want to reduce what their goal was. Like, okay, my goal was to help 100 families this year. Well, it's February and I've only helped two. So I'm going to go from 100 to 70 or 100 to 50. And I'm telling you, avoid that by just right now getting your schedule dialed in, getting the plan and executing. And then you will be able to be present with your family during the holidays. And further, in January and February and March, you're going to have an incredible first quarter because of the work that you put in the quarter before. Okay. And we're starting the new year with momentum. So I am wanting to leave you with that today. Over the next 2-3 episodes, I'm going to go deeper into business planning and some pitfalls and some things that you can do to further ensure your success. So I'm going to really unpack that on future episodes. But right now, I wanted to give you the overview. It really comes down to getting aligned. Okay, getting aligned with yourself, right? Your values, your principles, being aware of the inner conflict that you could be experiencing currently right now. Why are you doing this? What is the thing that you're going to be able to accomplish as a result of you putting this work in, getting clear on that, sharing that with your family, discussing that with your family. And then at that point, getting a schedule dialed in that's going to help you spend time in the money making activities that's going to help you grow. And then what is the minimum daily standard of activity that you need per day, right? And you make sure you make time in your day, in your schedule, to do that. And then you put accountability around you, that third party voice, that third party, to make sure they're holding you accountable to doing that every single day. And then now we have a great opportunity to build momentum. That's the overview, but we're going to unpack this a little further. So, hope this was valuable. Again, be strong. It's about showing up every single day. It's about being positive. It's about being extremely, extremely clear as to what the opportunity is in front of you. There's an opportunity in front of you that all you got to do is reach and grab it. Okay. All you got to do is reach out. All you got to do is be ready to receive. But in order to receive, you got to put in the work. Just understand you can have an incredible 2026 and a 2027. Your 2027 is going to be based on your 2026. So we're working for not only just the next year, but the next 2 years. So understand that, be strong, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.